Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yes, it's going to be another video from the Russian countryside. Yeah, I'm at my parents' place at my mom's and dad's countryside house. And yes, today I want to make this video about this thing, which is called Samovar, and it is used for heating up water to make some tea. Yep, it's a traditional sort of thing. I've just found it at my parents' kitchen. I was excited to show it to my kids. And yeah, today we are actually planning to have afternoon tea using this thing. Yeah. So let me show this thing to you and explain how it functions. Actually, everything is pretty simple. The only thing that, yes, it does look kind of weird, and it is something really traditionally Russian. I don't know if you guys ever seen something else like this. Please write down in the comments. Maybe you have. And yeah, the one I have is a modern one. It's already like this thing already uses electricity to heat up water. But the old ones that people had, they were meant for using hot coals, pieces of coals that you put inside to heat the water up. Well, I'll show you pictures of that so that you would understand how the old one worked. That's how some of ours look inside. They have a tube in the middle of them, and people would put in hot charcoals, they would put in pieces of wood, pieces of bark, and even pine cones. And yes, don't be surprised to see a boot on top of it. People very often use the boot like this to enhance the airflow in the tube to help the fire start. Of course, they would later take it off when it is steaming and hot. And yes, the tube would heat up and boil the water around it. The steam would come up at the bottom and keep your tea kettle warm. Our samovar is not an old one, it's an electric one, and if you open it up, it looks like this inside. It has no tube. Those little tubes heat up the water. By the way, this samovar was a gift to my grandpa. It even has a sign over here that says that this is a gift to Pyotr Alexandrovich, that's my grandpa's name, for his 70th anniversary from two families, and the family names of those families are also here. So it's a good memory. This thing opens up and you just pour the water in over here and close this thing, and when the water heats up, it starts boiling inside, uh the steam comes out from here because there are, like, little holes here for the steam. The steam comes out and it heats up your tea kettle, like teapot. This thing opens up very easily, like that's the way it goes when it's open, and to close it you simply have to move it like this. And yeah, I mean, everything is so easy. This thing has a hole in here, so when you twist it, the hole closes and the water stops flowing. Yeah, everything's pretty simple. You pour yourself some water from this thing, and then, yeah, some tea from the teapot, and you get yourself a nice cup of tea. Nowadays, Russian people are not using samovars anymore. You can only find them in souvenir shops, in cafes as a decoration, in some museums, and that's it. A lot of Russian people think that samovar is a truly Russian invention, but the truth is that it has a very long history. The first prototypes of such water heating devices were found in ruins of ancient Roman cities. How did it get into Russia? Well, in the middle of 18th century, it was brought to Russia by Russian Tsar Peter the Great from Holland. He loved everything European, and it was something that he brought to Russia. It very soon became popular. Russian people, of course, modified it a little bit and began producing it all over the country. By the way, we believe that the best samovars were made in Russian city Tula, like it was famous for that. We even have a saying, that goes like this. You shouldn't bring your samovar when you come to Tula. I think you have a similar thing about Newcastle and coal. Carry coals to Newcastle, meaning that doing something is absolutely silly. An interesting fact, if you come to Iran, if you come to India, Kashmir, to Turkey, you will see that people are still using samovars. Well, they call them differently, but they are still using such things to heat up water. Surprising, I know, but it's because in the past Russia traded with those countries, and yeah, our Russian habits were shared with people from those countries. Amazing, but that's the way it is. So it's almost 5 o'clock, and my mom, I think, is already making some pancakes. So let's go and see what else there is on the table today for our little tea party. How can she touch such hot things with her bare hands? And by the way, my grandma used to do the same thing. I cannot touch such things with my hands. No. Okay, let's see what we have on the table today. So, blini, Russian crepes, are the main thing on the table today. And we will eat them with sweet condensed milk and with red currant jam, which my mom made. It actually looks more like a jello. We have some nuts, some apricots, and yes, samovar is already heating up. You should be careful while touching it because it becomes really hot. And the wires are so old, I was not sure that it would be safe for us to actually use it, but no, it heats up pretty well. And we have a beautiful bouquet of flowers here on the table. They smell fantastic. We picked them up from that spot under the birch trees, and the aroma that they give is just amazing. It's all over the kitchen. And a finishing touch is to hang those cookies like this. These are called sushki, and they are actually really good. They go really well together with tea. Well, now our table looks very much like a table from old paintings. While we're waiting for the water to boil, I wanted to show you this. Actually, it's the present that I made for my mom for Mother's Day. And it's not a painting, it's not a picture, it's a cross stitch embroidery. I started making it when we had first COVID lockdown and my parents were away, couldn't see them, and I really wanted to make something with my hands for my mom so she would see it later on and think of me. So I really like the way that they keep it here on the wall.